All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another Harbor meeting. It's the 20th of May. Thank you all for attending. As always, these are recorded conversations. Please adhere to the code of conduct by CNCF. So we don't have anything but good news this week. So good news number one, Harbor 2.0 shipped. So we have a slew of media mentions. We have I believe at the last count we had 7 articles, but I believe a couple more are coming up. So we have Container Journal, Newsstack, TechStrong TV. We have the Register, DevClass, Heise, and Software Development Times. It's just the times for software development. And I think the only one that's missing is TFIR. Is that pretty much accurate, Jonas? I think TFIR is the only one that hasn't submitted it yet.
Yep.
So lots of media attentions. We have a blog post on this. So if you want to learn about the new capabilities, which all of you guys already know, then go view the blog post, go try it out. GoHarbor.io has been updated with 2.0 release. So if you want a very quick demo, go demo.goharbor.io, and it's available. You can request an account, or you can just, if you have one already, simply sign in. Remember that environment gets recycled every other day, but it is there. It's available. It has, try out the new functionality. The one that I love the most, and I already started using it, is the Slack integration. Being able to actually get some Slack endpoints and being able to get notifications on only specific webhooks that you care about, that's pretty huge. SSL to SSL encryption, important, but not same. I mean, it's invisible to me as a PM. I can't demo that really nicely. But the OCI, the Slack integration, the Trivia as the built-in scanner, all of those, they're huge. Easy to basically view. Um, then on top of that, obviously, Harbor is on really the last step of the graduation. When I say the last step, a public voting period opened a little bit over a week ago. And on Tuesday, right after Memorial Day in the United States, on the 26th, Harbor is going to go up for voting by the CNCF TOC. That's when we encourage all of you. John, maybe not, you don't count your VMware, but everybody else would love for you guys to go in and say, hey, I use Harbor, I like Harbor, here's my non-binding support for the project, and God willing, will basically graduate. Because maybe I shouldn't say God, maybe some people are, yeah. I just entered the religious discussion, Jonas. Maybe you need to bleep me out when you're
And we're out.
you need to bleep me out when you're pushing off the recording. Um, then so those are the kind of two big updates. At the same time, we're actually looking into the 2.1 prioritization. I think I mentioned that last week or last time we met. So those things didn't change. At the high level, we're going to implement proxy cache capabilities. There's a issue with a document that people can comment on. We're going to try to integrate with Dragonfly. We're going to try to have non-blocking garbage collection. And then we're also going to try to create a new type of robot account called a service account that's globally available across your entire Harbor ecosystem. So you will have access to all the projects for pool mode only permissions. So and that's going to be used by scanners or any other CI/CD tools that need access to Harbor to be able to pull content out of. Those are really the major features. We're targeting release mid-August now. So that when I say mid-August, I don't mean the release mid-August, release candidate mid-August, right before KubeCon EU. That's going to happen on the 16th, 17th. And then we'll release probably right before Labor Day. So that's kind of gives you kind of an estimate of where we're going to be. We are going to have 2 sessions at KubeCon EU, the virtual conference. We're going to have an intro and a deep dive session for Harbor. We accepted our sessions last week. So we are going to show these 2.1 capabilities around, our ability to have proxy caching and Dragonfly. And we look forward to getting a lot of feedback from the conference. And, the release will come a week or 2 later. We have a question in the chat. By the way, don't be shy, folks. Is there a master list of the breaking changes between 110 and 2.0? Chris, there's no changes. There's no changes are breaking out, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Functionally, Harbor is the same. If you had a project that was using Claire as a scanner before and you upgraded to 2.0, that's not going to change. You're still going to be using Claire, which is why we didn't phase out Claire. But you have the option to change the scanner to 3V, for example, moving forward. The only thing that has changed between the two releases is at the API level. So if you're calling the API of Harbor, the API from V1, it changed to V2, but the structure of the API, the parameters, the return values, everything's changing the same. So if you just do a search and replace /V1/ to /V2/, I'm almost guaranteeing 99.9% of the things will just work.
That's
The
exactly the question I had.
we did find some other things with the way that we were some of the APIs around retagging, and like if you get down to actually manipulating images because of the new structure with the OCI artifacts, there's a little bit of a change there. But like absolutely everything with Helm charts was the exact same, and a lot of the other things were the exact same.
Yeah, cool. Oh yeah, if there were a couple of small changes, shoot a message to Alex so we can actually put them on docs. Be worth calling it out. You're right, because now we have, before we used to have artifact and then there was a tag, and now it's artifact index tag, and you can have multiple tags now. It's not just one. So the big change there is you could have multiple tags. And on tags, since that topic came up, this is important to note. Before, we actually depended on the Docker distributions to manage everything for us, like the tags, the layers, and then when you did garbage collection, it was a blocking GC where everything just basically froze for writes until all the layers were reclaimed. Now we actually use Docker distribution to serve content. You can push and pull images using Docker distribution, but the actual management of the layers happens in the Harbor database. It is an important difference now. We manage the layers so that when something is deleted from the database, we can delete it from disk if we want to. And that's how we're going to implement non-blocking GC later on, because we have full control over the layers and their interdependencies and references. That's it. Any questions, any concerns? Did anybody try it out? I mean, I know, John, you said you might try it out, so that's good. That's awesome. Anybody else?
One of the things we were looking into was the operator, the Helm operator, or the Harbor operator. Do you have any idea of when 2.0 might ship there?
So they're working. Even the Helm chart has not been updated yet. We just usually need a few more days to update that. I haven't gotten an update on when the operator will come. Jonas, can you write a quick note to our in our Harbor channel so Alex or someone can reply and can give back the answer. My thinking is probably the operator is going to be updated within the next couple of weeks, but I don't know exactly when. We also had a discussion in the community meeting at Chinatown maybe 2 weeks ago around what's going to happen with the operator. When are we going to take it to 1.0? And I think that's going to be influenced around stability and reliability, and basically being able to support all the features that we want around. Be able to deploy Redis, be able to deploy Postgres, both in HA and non-HA modes. And we're probably looking about a 3-4 month roadmap. Now, these are community contributions. Sometimes people get, pulled into another job or something else, like things change. So take that with a grain of salt. But we're thinking like, October timeframe, if not earlier, we'll probably have the operator to be stable. And then we're going to have to make some tough choices. Do we maintain 2 deployment models for Harbor, Helm and operator, or do we basically use the Helm chart to drive the operator and converge on that? So one is a wrapper of the other. Choices, I don't know the answer yet. Very likely it's going to be this Helm driving operator, but we're not there yet.
Sounds like a good growing pain to have, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I had a discussion with the CubeApps team earlier today, and one of the things that CubeApps today supports Chart Museum, only. Well, they support other things, but the one compatible with Harbor is Church Museum, right? So if you deploy a local cube apps in your cluster and you're pointing to Harbor as your repository for all your images, we're not going to support Chart Museum forever. Our goal is to continue down the OCI part, right, and be the OCI compliant registry and have full-blown support for that across the board for everything, right, which we already do. So we need to figure out how can we enhance CubeApps so it talks OCI to us rather than talking to us using Chart Museum. Is that an option? So there's lots of these things around. Helm is a thorny thing, both as a consumer of it, like the Helm chart for Harbor, as well as a server of it, as in like providing the repository for Charm Museum. I don't want to really call it thorny. Helm just graduated in CNCF, so we need to be good. We need to play well with Helm, so we do play well, but it's giving us some trouble now. Any other questions, concerns? We have a CNCF webinar on Harbor on May 28th. So there's here I can share the link here too. 1 second.
Yeah, add the link to the meeting notes as well.
Yeah, I need to find it first. You shared it yesterday somewhere.
I got it.
You got me? All right, cool. You throw it in there.
Yep, will do.
Thank you, Jonas. So we are basically the abstract for that is catchy. Use Harbor as a container image registry, as a trusted registry for Kubernetes. And the premise under which we're basically talking about that is that 2020 had one of the biggest jumps in production usage of Kubernetes. You can't really deploy clusters, and you can operate clusters at a registry. So Harbor now becomes a key ingredient for all your cloud native deployments. And with the added support for OCI and expanding the types of supported artifacts, we're really the best complement to Kubernetes. So in that webinar, we're just basically going to go through an in-depth view of all the capabilities. We're going to talk about OCI, Trivy, the webhooks, all of the things that Harbor has, and very likely I'm going to basically do a 20-minute flyby on all the features of Harbor. It's going to be fun. My goal is to get more people than my previous webinar, which was very little. But the webinar I did a year ago had a few thousand views, so maybe May is the right month to have a webinar. Cool. Any questions, anything else, folks? All right, we'll give everybody back 15 minutes. Well, thank you all for attending. Appreciate it. Tuesday, go vote. Go submit your non-binding vote for Harbor. Sign up for the webinar. Jonas put the link here. If he hasn't already, he'll put it on the meeting notes. Love to see you there. Show your support for Harbor and come and help us deliver new features. We have a lot of exciting things up in the roadmap. Cool. Thank you all. Bye.
Have a good one.